Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will be reviewing Married at First Sight Season 15, Episode 8. It was another great episode. It was called Party Ways, and I felt that each couple focused on one or two issues. So if you are excited to see a particular couple, check the timestamp so that you can jump to your favorite couple. Please subscribe so that you can be part of the congregation, and please comment so that you can be part of the conversation. And with that, let's get started.
Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by BINH's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video.
Lindy and Miguel. I felt like for Lindy and Miguel, their issue was insurance versus name. And we saw that as a running theme through the whole episode. The first thing we saw of Lindy and Miguel was them in their introduction cameo, and I really thought it was disrespectful for Miguel to kind of shine a light on Lindy's bottom when she was in the kitchen. I never liked that, but maybe it's just me because I'm very conservative. So I didn't like that. I think that is just disrespectful. But he did turn my opinion about him on this episode. So I was really glad to see him in a different light. In that same scene, Miguel said that we should believe the hype because marriage is everything that he thought it was and more. We then see Miguel, and he is talking to his friend Steve, and he says a lot of great things about Lindy. He says that him and Lindy are both into each other, that Lindy is a great wife, and he knows he does relationships well. He says that his heart is in it and they are totally invested. He says when things come up, he tries to not let it bother him because he is really trying to build security within this relationship. He said that Lindy exudes shiny, happy pink, but she has a lot of depth and character. She meets his checkpoints, which were agreeable, open-minded conversationalists, but she's also adventurous, cute, beautiful eyes, fun to be around, funny, quirky, attentive, clean, and cooks. So he sees a lot of great qualities in Lindy. He says they're developing feelings beyond the like, and she is like an oasis in the desert. But he then brings it back and says, wait, what if we don't make it on decision day? Then people are gonna like, where's that oasis now? Are you still thirsty? And I thought that was just a fun way to joke about it. But we see from the start that Miguel is really into this marriage. And although we may have had some doubts, that he seems that he is really invested. So I was glad to see that. And I feel like we're gonna see that play out as the episode moves along. We then see them party planning together, and they decided to have a game show theme. And Miguel decided to go as a pimp, and Lindy decided to go as a pizza. They played the newlywed game, and their friends were like, they really do know each other pretty well after only knowing each other for about 2 weeks. So I thought that was great. It shows that they have been conversating and getting to know one another better. I felt like the best dress out of the whole episode in terms of costumes was Sally, who went as Grapes. She really did go all out for her costume. So way to go, Sally. If I had an award, she would have won because she went all out. We then see them talk to each other's friends, and Miguel says he has a good thing going and he does not want to mess it up. We then get our first look of the insurance versus last name because Lindy shares with Miguel's friends that he wants her to take on his last name, and he wants her to do it really soon. I can't remember for me if my husband, I believe we had that conversation, and I believe that he did want me to take on his last name, which I did. But I was more like STACIA and didn't have a real relationship with my dad. So I didn't have a real relationship to the last name. So I don't think it was a big deal. But I know for a lot of men, taking their last name is very important to them. She then goes on to say that she needs a health insurance, and that Miguel said that he will put her on his health plan if she takes his last name. Now, I would really have liked to hear that conversation to see if that's really what he said. If you do this, I'll do that. Or if you don't do this, I won't do that. KRYSTIN talked about it on the after party. So if you didn't see it, go see my recap of the after party to see what KRYSTIN's take was on this. She also had some thoughts on it in this episode as well. But go look at my after party video and see what you think. But she says, I feel like in this conversation that Lindy is reducing it to a phone call, but it's more than a phone call. You have to pay when you add your spouse onto your insurance. I don't think that there's any insurance plan that's going to let a single person and then a married person be the same cost. So there is cost involved in that too. And my question to Lindy is, you're 29, you just got married 2 weeks ago, and you don't have health insurance? I was really taken aback when she was really so adamant about being on his health insurance. My question is, what has she been doing before the show got along? How does she have insurance? Did her insurance just fail? And also what I thought was very interesting is last week she told him right before they left their honeymoon, look, I don't want to work that much. I'm tired. I got my doctor's degree. I'm doing my own thing, but you don't have to worry about me. And then don't ask about me. Don't ask about what I do. Don't care if I go on vacation. Don't care if I buy anything. Don't care if I sleep all day. So if you don't want him to be in your business and in your space, then leave him alone. And we already know that Miguel has an issue because his sister has already talked about finances and how him taking care of people. And he said in other relationships that he's taking care of people. So now you're going to come in and you don't know this man. You've only met him 2 weeks ago. And then you're going to be upset with him because he will not put you on his insurance. I think putting somebody on your insurance is a big deal. It's a big deal to me because that deals with your job. That is interfering with your job. And my thing is, let's see if this is going to work out first, and then we can come together. And I love that Lindy pinpointed it. She says we are both having the same issue. The issue is uncertainty. I'm uncertain if this is going to work out, so I don't want to take his last name. And he is uncertain if this is going to work out, so he doesn't want to put me on the insurance. But then she went on to make it look like her point was more important than his. And I didn't like that because I feel like both of their points are valid to what they're saying. So I don't like when she talks about his is my insurance is here and me taking his last name is here. That's not fair. Just because it's here because that is your issue. So you're putting him, you're not really thinking about what he wants, but you only are asserting what you want. And I really did not like that. And I think that she did that through the entire show. So I was really proud of Miguel because we know that in the end, he said he's going to put her on his insurance. And then it's, he relented, which I didn't think was the character of Miguel because he hasn't showed us anything to show that he would relent like that. But through the whole episode, that was her theme about the insurance versus last name. I like when the girls had the girl chat and KRYSTIN was like, I'm Team Miguel. And the thing about it is, when you put somebody on your insurance, well, I don't know everybody because I don't know everybody's job, but at my job, we can only put people on our insurance at certain times of the year. Once a year, you can open enrollment, you can enroll anyone. But during the year, if there is a event that happens and it qualifies, you can add them at any time. So if you have a baby or you get married or anything like that. But I think it's harder to get somebody off your insurance because you have to present your marriage license to show that you got married. They can get on your insurance. It's not a limit, so I can get married today and then 90 days down the road, show my marriage license and show that there hasn't been an open enrollment and then add my spouse. But getting them off your insurance, we know that if it does not work out for these 8 weeks, that it could take them a year to get divorced. So to be able to show that document, to show that you're no more tied to this person, I don't know how long that would take. And I don't think I would want to carry somebody on my insurance that we're not together anymore. So maybe they could file for a separation and then he could present that and take her off his insurance. I'm not really sure how to get someone off your insurance. So I thought that Lindy was being very unreasonable in this particular request. And what happened to Obamacare? Can she not get insurance through Obamacare? I'm not sure. So somebody let me know in the comment if Obamacare is still an option for people who don't have insurance. Because there's other ways, she makes it sound like you're just gonna let me die in the street and not do anything about it. But I don't think that is the case for him. And I can see both sides of the coin, and I don't think it should be, if you do this, then I'll do that. But I think that she at least should have, and she never did through the whole episode, validate his concerns. And I felt like he was trying to validate her concerns. So let me know what you think about it in the chat. When they talked about this same issue later, I love that Miguel says, "What do you need from me that would make you comfortable about taking my last name?" And she named off a couple of things. She said, I need a joint bank account. I need a plan of where we're going to be moving in 8 weeks. I need more. I would have just said in that conversation, and I need for you to put me on your insurance. He was asking her, what does she need? I would have just threw that in there. But instead, she just escalated the situation and then she cursed at him. And I think that was very rude and very disrespectful, because he was trying to be attentive and ask her what she needs. All she had to do was throw the insurance in there. But I love how Miguel responded. He says, I don't like this side of you. And he was still very calm and monotone about the entire situation. But I think that was disrespectful for her to curse at him. I'm really glad that she apologized for cursing at him later on in the night when they were having their one-on-one at the end of the night. I'm glad she did apologize. We then see them in the group chat, and Lindy shares the insurance versus name thing, and KRYSTIN says that she's Team Miguel. I love Miguel's conversation with the guys, because he says that he realizes that him and Lindy, they have different communication styles. He takes time to think about what he wants to say before he speaks it. And she needs to speak her thoughts out loud. And she went negative in that conversation, and he did not like that. Miguel says that they are developing enough feelings for each other that if it doesn't work out, that they will be hurt. So I love that, because sometimes you just got to take a chance on love. And that is what this show is about. And I hate when couples don't develop the feelings for each other. So then I feel like it's easier for them to just go their separate ways. In their night chat, Lindy said that she was not proud of how she spoke to him, and she did apologize. And she said that she was being defensive because she was feeling not heard, she wasn't being secure. But in that moment, I felt like he asked her a question, what do you need? And I feel like he was listening attentively. So I'm not sure how she felt insecure. He was asking her a direct question and giving her time to answer in her own way. Then at first she says that they need to see all sides of each other and to determine if they want to keep on in this relationship or not. But then he says, I don't like that side of you. Then she says, I don't either. And it sounded like she was willing to work on changing it. But at first she said, this is me, and you're gonna have to accept me like I am. But then I feel like when he said, I don't like that side of you, then she became the agreeable Lindy and said, I don't either, and sounded like she might be willing to change it. And some people think that you have to accept them just as that you are, but I think that you do have to make changes in the relationship. Because when she said, this is just who I am, and we need to see all sides of you, I'm thinking, so what you're saying is I have to accept the disrespectful side of you cursing me out, and I'm just supposed to accept it? And I think possibly Lindy has been this way and nobody has really corrected her or let her know that, I won't tolerate it, because we do what we're allowed to do. And I think that it was really good of Miguel to let her know that it's not going to work for me. And I think that this conversation is going to continue next week. But we do see that Miguel did kind of put his foot down and say, hey, you know what? I will relent and I will put you on my insurance. And as a woman, I do think that that made Lindy feel secure. I always ask in a relationship, when there is a stalemate, who is going to go first? Am I going to change my name first, or are you going to put me on your insurance? And I love that Miguel was the one who just said, you know what? This issue is more important to you, and I will relent and I will put you on my insurance. And I think that that is the art of negotiation and communication. And he does want to make her feel secure, which I was surprised, because I felt like he had one foot in and one foot out, and it was all about him. But we see that he can be talked down off the ledge, and he will change his mind, even about the whole decision day. He agreed with her and said, okay, we'll call it vow renewal day. So that really gave me hope for Lindy and Miguel, and it really changed my perspective of Miguel, because a lot of things he says and does, I am shaking my head. So what did you think? What did you think about Lindy and Miguel? Which side were you on? Do you think that he should have had a stalemate and you change your name, I'll add you to my insurance? Or do you think he should have stuck to his guns and said, we'll do both after the 8 weeks? What would you have done? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think about Lindy and Miguel? Stacia and Nate, I think that this was the couple that was least problematic in this particular episode. So it was really fun to just see them interact with each other and just how they are communicating, and then with their friends. So we first see their introduction, and they're saying that they had just come from the gym for the first time. They worked out together, but they have a long way to go. And Nate says that they need to get in shape. We then see Nate talk to his friend Derek, and he says that Stacia wants him to go deeper. So he's going to put some action behind it and go to therapy. He says that he's fearful about being vulnerable because he thinks Stacia may change after decision day. But I love the advice that Derek gave him. He says sometimes you got to take a risk and you just have to go all in. We then see Stacia and Nate planning for their party, and they're in the record store getting records because they've decided to go with a 70s theme. We then see them all decked out in their afros, having to go to the grocery store to get that last minute item. So I love that they seemed like they were having so much fun. They were not afraid to go to the grocery store all dressed up, and I love that they did it together. They looked like they were having so much fun. And I love when everybody came over and they shared their pictures, and they were like, oh, you guys seem like you guys are just settling in, like you guys have been knowing each other longer than the 2 weeks. So it seems like the family and friends, that they were really excited for both of them. We then see Nate talking to Stacia's family, and he says that his issue is about having kids because she wants to have kids very soon, and he understands due to age that she wants to have that. However, he does not know how Stacia is going to be around kids. He says that Stacia is a workaholic and she likes things very nice and clean. So with a kid running around messing up things, he does not know how Stacia is going to do with that because she does not even like animals. So I thought that that was cute. I never think you can judge somebody of how they interact with animals, and I think everybody adjusts. There's a lot of people who have OCD who have children, and they do just fine. Stacia talks to Nate's friends about having children too, and she says that in a year she wants to check back in to see where they are, and if it's the right time that she would like to start then. His friends say that he grew up without a mom, so it's possible that he needs a lot of reassurance that this is a forever thing. He may be having abandonment issues. Stacia is unsure of what to do when she asks him how he feels, and he says that he does not feel anything. And honestly, I just think that that is most guys, because I can remember I asked my husband, "What are you thinking?" And he said nothing. And I'm just like, nothing? Like, how can you be thinking nothing? Like, I'm never not thinking. I am never not thinking. So how can you be, there's nothing that you're thinking about? And I think some guys are just like that. And I think that it is more guys than I think that there's some guys who are very communicative, but I think most guys, they are thinking nothing. And how do they feel? They don't even know. So I think that that's normal. I really think that Stacia should let up on that. Everybody is not going to be like you. I don't think that he has mom issues. I think that he doesn't have any relationship with his mom. So to dwell on it like she does in terms of her relationship with her dad, of not having it and wondering about it, I think they're just two different people. So I really think that Stacia is making a big deal out of nothing. And it's really causing me some concern about her dating history. Has she dated other guys, and does she know just how guys act in general? And yeah, so I don't know. That for me, I think that Stacia is making a big deal about absolutely nothing. Nate's friends share that he has not had a lot of long relationships, so he does keep things guarded, especially since he did not have a relationship with his mom. They said the best thing about Nate is that he is open-minded, and they encourage Stacia to be patient. And they said if she's patient and she waits, she is going to love the outcome. The last thing we saw of Nate and Stacia was Nate sharing with the guys, and he indicates that they have not consummated their marriage, but they are doing other things of an intimate nature. And I think that that may have been too much for him to share, because I think that that is possibly just as intimate as consummation. And I didn't hear Stacia share anything about her relationship when she was talking to the girls, which goes with her personality, because she said on the after party she generally does not share about her relationship. So if you haven't seen what she said about her sharing relationships on the after party, then go check out my after party recap after this. And with that, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Stacia is making a big deal out of nothing? Do you think that there are some men who don't feel nothing or not thinking anything? Do you think they really have an issue, or is Married at First Sight just needing to push some type of narrative, and this is the only thing they can find with this couple? What did you think about their outfits? Did you think that they were cute and they had a good vibe going for the 70s? Let me know what you think by commenting in the comment section. KRYSTIN and Mitch. I felt like KRYSTIN and Mitch's issue this week was the whole environmentalist, and KRYSTIN seeing how much of an environmentalist that Mitch is. So we first see them, and Mitch gave KRYSTIN a reusable snack bag for her trail mix, which I don't have a problem with. I feel like I use the same baggie over and over when I can, when I'm gonna put the same thing in it over and over. So a reusable trail mix bag, I think that that's a great idea. I mean, I understand that she wasn't deep enough for her, but maybe she could have more than one if she needs more than that amount of trail mix in the bag. We then see KRYSTIN talk to her friend Joanne, and she talks about that she is seeing there's differences in their cleanliness. And he has a water tower that disrupts the view that's really huge, that sits on their counter. And he does not want to throw away anything. And he has been bringing things in the house, including an antique bookshelf. They say that he may be a hoarder. Now KRYSTIN goes on to say that that's not a deal breaker. But I think for me, that would be a deal breaker. I think that there's difference with someone being cluttery, being, just having clutter, or a hoarder, because a hoarder is on a whole different level. So I hope that Mitch is not a hoarder, and I hope that they can balance out what should and should not come in the house. And I think when you live with someone else, you are more apt to kind of share the space and be able to negotiate what should come in and what should not come out. But we know a lot of married people who are hoarders. They're hoarders on the show, hoarders. They're not all single people. So I think some people do bring that into their marriage. So I would be kind of nervous and concerned. And for me, being a hoarder, that would be a deal breaker. I do applaud KRYSTIN because she is willing to continue to try and to not give up. And she sees a lot of great qualities within Mitch. And I think that unlike a lot of people, they are willing to give up. If they see, oh, he's bringing in too much of this, I'm just out of here. So I like that she's willing to stick and stay and try to work out their differences. She says that they were fighting over the housewarming thing, but they did come into an agreement, which was retro futurism. So I love that, he was kind of asserting his way and she wanted to see something of hers, but they did come to an agreement. And that's really good in this debate and discussion within your marriage. You do need to come to an agreement that both of you can live with. Not that everybody is going to get their way, but that both of you can live with. And it sounds like they did just that. She says that Mitch does not know about her previous engagement. We then see KRYSTIN and Mitch making mimosas, and KRYSTIN decides to share with him about her broken engagement. And I loved his response. He says that he does not blame her. It was not her fault. He doesn't look at her differently. And I love that when he is talking about this, that he grabs her by the hand. The only thing that Mitch did in the conversation that kind of everybody held their breath was when she said that they invited everyone to go anyway, and he said, well, that was weird, and she almost got defensive. That wasn't weird. I thought it was a great thing, but I feel like he turned it around, and I love that he held her hand to give her that security. And KRYSTIN did say that that was exactly the response that she needs, and that was her only secret. That was it. Now everything is out on the table. So I really love that they have gotten to that point where she felt secure enough to share what she thinks is her darkest, deepest secret. But I would really like for KRYSTIN to let us know what the other guy's response is, because I can't see anyone responding negatively to that news since she didn't do anything. So I really would love to hear her tell us what the other guy she's dated, why they had a problem with it on her end. What do you think? Do you think you would have a problem if somebody cheated and you broke off the engagement? I can't see anybody thinking anything different or looking at her in a bad light because of that. We then see them party planning, and Mitch lets her know that they cannot go to the original party store, that they have to go to a party rental place so that they can rent the items and then they can return it. They also do a sterile futuristic wave where they don't touch hands, but they wave like they're in the future in order to keep the place sterile. KRYSTIN also tells us that Mitch respectfully asked her to take back the single-use shot glasses and get some 24 aluminum cups that are reusable that cost 20 times as much. And the thing I liked most about that is that she said that Mitch respectfully asked her to return them. So I feel like that means that they are communicating well, and he's not asserting himself or being demanding in what he asked in terms of environmentalists, but he respectfully asked her, and then she was willing to oblige. I would like to know who paid for the 24 aluminum glasses, since they were 20 times as much as the plastic. Because if that is your deal, then I hope that you are helping to foot the bill. We also learned in this interaction at the party that Mitch went and got the toys from his niece's house instead of allowing KRYSTIN to order a lot of toys online, which she was having fun with. And so we do see that they have differences there. But I think that that's a great thing. If you're willing to go get your niece's toys, deliver them, bring them back, that just saved me some money. I understand that she did not get the fun part of it, but I still feel like that's not a big deal. And hopefully it doesn't seem like she took it as a big deal either. Her friends are concerned that they did not see enough of her in the party. But one thing that she says is she's learning that they do have differences, but she says she agrees with the things that he's saying about being an environmentalist. So I feel like that is really what's going to drive them together, is that even though it's an adjustment for her, but she agrees with what he is saying. And she says they have a great relationship. They do a lot of things together. They spend a lot of time together. They watch television together. She enjoys being around him, and he's easy to live with. So I think even though they have this one issue, and KRYSTIN is going to have to make more adjustments on this point than Mitch, I think they may be able to make it. We hear that Mitch's concern is that KRYSTIN dog snores like a fat old man, and he is having a hard time sleeping. And someone said that he should go move to the couch. But I say move the dog outside in the living room. And now he doesn't get to sleep in the room so that my husband can get some sleep. So I think that there is an easy compromise that they can do. I definitely wouldn't want to put my husband in the living room. So hopefully they'll come to that, put the dog in the living room. And I do like that he told his friends that he cannot expect her to be as much of an environmentalist as he is. So I feel like he is going to have to make that balance and determine where that balance is in terms of not pushing everything off on him. But he does give her credit for trying and says that she is doing the best she can and that he needs to be patient. So I really feel that there is really no big issue over this. I do think that it's going to be an adjustment period. But since KRYSTIN agrees with the sentiments of environmentalism, that she'll be able to adjust. And I actually don't see anything wrong with any of the things that Mitch has asked her to do so far. For me, the hoarding would be different, and him bringing a lot of junk into the house. I think that would be more unpalatable for me than him being an environmentalist and us making some changes in our household. In the group chats, they both share that they have consummated their marriage, and KRYSTIN shares with the ladies that it has gone from 0 to 100, and they have made a 180-degree turn since the honeymoon, and everybody is so excited. She says that he wakes up early, he makes her coffee, he watches reality TV shows with her, and she thinks that this is a lifetime marriage. So I think that Mitch and KRYSTIN have a great chance of making this work. What do you think about this couple? What do you think about the whole environmentalist? Do you think he is going too far, or what we have seen so far is reasonable? What do you think about the hoarding? Do you think Mitch is a hoarder? Could you keep up with that or tolerate that? Let me know what you think about this couple by commenting in the comment section. Alexis and Justin. I felt like this couple is in the most trouble this week. And I felt like Alexis was singing the same old song over and over and over. And I understand she's talking to different people, and so she's reciting the story again because they've never heard it. But for me as a viewer, I just got tired of listening to the same old song. And their thing is the dog attack for Alexis and Justin being vague. And I felt like that was their issue for this episode. And I saw some glimmer of hope, but I don't know. I'm really on the fence with this couple because Alexis, she has admitted that she is a runner. We first see Alexis talking to her sister on video chat. She lets her know that Newton was attacked by Maya and says that Justin immediately sent the dog to obedience school. And if it doesn't work, then he is going to have to stay with Justin's best friend. I was so glad they told us where Maya is going if things do not work out. And since it's going to Justin's best friend, if he needs to, he can definitely go and pick him up if the relationship doesn't work out. She says that she is having a hard time with Justin being vague And she is trying to tell herself that just because he is vague, it doesn't mean that he is untrustworthy. She also says that he did not tell her that Maya had several dog attacks before. So she is really trying to get her mind in the game and stay committed because she knows that she has commitment issues. She lets her sister know that both of them said I love you on the honeymoon. And her sister says, saying I love you exposes you to hurt, and she needs to protect her heart. But Alexis says that she loves Justin, but she is not in love with Justin. So I don't know. I really do believe that Justin should have told her about Maya attacking other dogs before. I don't think that that was him being vague. I honestly believe that Justin was fearful of Alexis's response and that she would not have wanted her dog to meet Maya if he had shared that information with her. So I don't think that he is an untruthful person, but in that instance, I really do believe that he held back and did not tell her the information that she needed, which is what she keeps saying, in order to make a great decision. And how I come to that is, leading up to the dog attack, Justin was so nervous every time. He was like, oh, I'm just kind of nervous about the dogs meeting. And so why are you nervous? He was nervous because he knows that his dog has attacked before. And he was really holding that dog. Really, I mean, I don't think he really wanted that to happen. Of course he didn't, but I think that just his actions leading up to it, I think that he was afraid to tell her because he knows how passionate she is about Maya, and he did not want to hear the backlash, which leads into the next segment, which is him and Alexis arguing over him being vague. They then are in the kitchen and she's saying, don't give Maya any medicine because she hasn't eaten. And then they get into this whole discussion about Maya hasn't eaten in 2 weeks. And she says that, there he goes again. He's being vague. Now that whole argument was crazy because are you arguing over him giving the dog medicine? Or are you arguing over him being vague? And it just went left. I feel like when you argue, you have to stick with one issue at a time. And he says that he was not trying to be vague, that he felt like he had it under control. But I don't believe him when it comes to Newton because he already knows how Alexis feels about this dog. She calls the dog her child. So I feel like when she comes home, it's just like if you sent your dog to the sent your child to the daycare or the babysitter. When you get home, you say, you know what? The baby didn't eat but half of this, or he wasn't eating as normal. He knows that she is very concerned about this dog who she calls a child. And I think that Justin, he wants this relationship so bad that he doesn't want to do anything that he thinks may mess it up. And he's fearful that if he tells her this thing, that he will be blamed for it. And I know I am reading into this because, and I usually don't do that, but I really feel in this case that it is Justin trying to protect himself because he is scared if he is honest with her about what's going on with Newton, then she's going to look at him a different way. But the argument just went left. Justin said in the argument that he will not get it right every time when she says, I've asked you not to be vague. And I agree with that statement. When you ask somebody to change, they're not going to just change overnight. They need time. So it is going to take Justin time to change. So I agree with Justin on that point. Alexis said that she is struggling because he keeps adding to the side of her brain that she says that makes her feel like he is hiding something and being manipulative. And I think that is really going to hurt their situation because she has a preconceived idea. And no matter what Justin does, whether it is that or not, her preconceived idea is going to make him feel that way. I always say it's just like a kid at school when they're labeled as a bad child and then they're getting on the bus and they trip and they, see what happened? He did that. See, he's just bad. No, he just fell. He slipped on the stairs, but everything the child does, they never get a break because you already have a preconceived idea that the child is whatever your perception is. So I don't know. I think that may hurt them at the end because she has a preconceived idea and she is turning vague into manipulation. So my advice to Alexis, if you're watching, Alexis, look up the word vague because it does not mean manipulative. It does not mean manipulative. But I do think that Justin is holding back in this situation. Justin then talks about how he is not going to be perfect every single time. And he says, if that's what you want, I'm likely to end this. And he said that first. So he gets on her later on about saying she's going to leave. But in that conversation, he says that if you want me to be perfect, we might as well end this. And I don't think you should ever talk about leaving your spouse. You need to be serious when you have those conversations. And if you keep threatening to leave, then that's not a good idea. And he says that she keeps threatening to leave because she then says, I can't do this. But what I love about it is he said, I know you're always ready to leave. And she defines what she meant about I can't do this. She says, she says that when she says that, she's saying, I can't do this. I cannot continue in this conversation. And then she accuses him of being the victim. And I do think that he tried to turn the conversation around both here and in the candy store to make it look like he is the victim because he is nervous about this relationship and he was not winning the argument. So he had to turn it around and try to push something bad on her. He should have just said, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, the dog hasn't eaten. I guess I shouldn't have gave him that medicine. And then when she said, you're being vague, he should have just said, you're right. I apologize. I'm trying to do better. But I don't understand how the argument just escalated. I watched it several times because this is why I watch the show, because I love to see the 360 view. And we all do it. So I am not getting on Justin because believe me, I have been married 24 years, almost 25 next month. So I have had plenty of discussions that somehow turned into something bigger and I had no idea how. But I really love watching it from afar because then you can see where, you know what, so-and-so should have did this, so-and-so should have said this. This is where they went left, they mixed the issues. So what did you think about the argument? I just thought it was really, really crazy. And Justin said on the after party that it went further along than that, and Alexis actually left the house for a couple of days. But I did not understand that because they had this argument on that day. She was in the car. When she was in the candy store, she was in that same outfit. So that means that it was the same day that she had the argument in the morning and that she went to the candy store that same day. When she got to the candy store, she said, tonight we're having a housewarming party. So then they had the housewarming party the same night. So I would love to hear him clarify when Alexis went home and stayed a couple of days. Did she go after the housewarming party? Because everything that we saw in this episode, from them arguing to the candy store to the party, from what they said within the episode and from the clothes that they had on, it appeared like it was the same day. So go watch my recap of the after party and then let me know what you think. Do you think that was the same day? When do you think Alexis had time to go home for 2 weeks or 2 days? Or I don't remember how long he said, but I don't know. I wish that I could get a little more clarification on that point. But they meet in the candy store. He said that he wasn't going to come, but he felt like it was bigger than him. They then get into the discussion again. They jump right back into the argument. One thing I did not like about this is when Justin said that Alexis likes arguing. You just like this. And I think that that was wrong. I agree with her. I'm glad she walked away and stopped the conversation and asked them to unmic her. And I'm glad that she let him know, I did not like what you said about me. And that was not true. So I don't know. I don't think that when you argue, you should not take digs on the person's character. You really do need to stay on the issue. So I thought that was not a good look for Justin, and I don't think that it is going to fare well. But I'm really glad that they were able to continue and decorate for the party. We then see them at their party, and their friends come not dressed in a 90s theme, because I guess Alexis and Justin didn't let them know what was up. And if you're gonna have a costume party, then you need to tell your people what the theme is so that they can be prepared in their costume. Alexis mentions that they had a disagreement, and I love what the friends said. They said this before they heard what the disagreement was about. The friend said, that's expected. You guys are still trying to get to know each other. As long as you're working through it, then that's what matters. If they communicate about communicating, then it'll be fine. And that is what the friends said before they even knew what the argument was about. And I love that advice, because they were like, we are for this relationship. We understand you're going to go through some rocky moments, but you guys can work it out. Justin admits that he messed up, but he feels that Alexis drills him even when they come to conclusions. He says he needs time to process his thoughts, and when he speaks and he's not able to process, that it sounds like he is making a contradiction. He says that she asks question after question and she does not give him time, but Alexis says that she asks him one question at a time. And when they began to go back and forth about that, Alexis says, okay, maybe I don't. So she relented in that particular case. Alexis talks to Justin's friends alone and brings up Maya's attack on Newton. And she says that she thinks he was being vague because he did not tell her about Maya's past. And one of the male friends says that men, they just think in the moment, and sometimes they don't think ahead. And I agree with that in certain situations. I think that sometimes they don't think ahead, but in this situation, I don't agree. I think that he knew he should have told her about Maya attacking another dog. It directly relates to the subject. So I'm not going to give him a pass on this one, but I do think in general, that is a true statement. The friend said that you might have the same conversation over and over again. And oh my God, I can so relate. That is true in marriage. Alexis said that she was thinking of Justin's needs, even though she was mad at him and she was at the store, but she was still trying to get things that he needed. And I love that, because I hate when people get mad at somebody and then you're just done with them, because I feel like you can't turn love on and off like that. So I love that she is still thinking and caring for him, even though she is upset about what he has done. Because my mom would tell me all the time, you have to love the person but hate the sin. So you got to love the person in spite of what they've done wrong to you. So I really like that about Alexis in this moment. Justin wants advice on what he should do when Alexis gets upset, if he should give her space or not. And the friend says, don't ask me, ask her. So they really weren't helpful in the advice to Justin. They're like, just ask her what she wants and then do what she says. And so he was like, okay, I guess I'll ask her. So I thought that was a very quick conversation with her friends. Justin says that he really wants this and he does not want to give Alexis a reason to say no on decision day. And personally, I think that drives a lot of things that Justin is holding back on. And most of it deals with Newton, because he knows how much Alexis loves Newton, because that seems like the whole issue. We haven't heard her say that he's been vague on any other issue. Every time she talks about vagueness, it's in relation to Newton. So I'm really going to be watching carefully to see if another issue comes up. In the group chat, Alexis shares with the ladies that Justin is okay coming in on her private time in the restroom. And I thought that was too much information. And I think that is just I don't know. That was just a very weird type of behavior. I hope that he is just not that in love with Alexis. Sometimes you have to have some type of privacy. They both discuss the dog attack, and again, Alexis says that she thinks that Justin was being vague. But Stacia says that sometimes she doesn't share things that are relevant because you can't tell your whole life story in a very short period of time, and she may tell something and then think of more details about it later. So she was really trying to give Justin a pass and help him out in this scenario, which I like that about Stacia, because usually she is very hard. So the fact that she was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, I thought was excellent. The tables have now turned, and Justin has now made a move on Alexis, but Alexis is not having it. And that's pretty much all we saw for Justin and Alexis. What do you think about this couple? Do you think Justin being vague is really manipulative? What do you think? Do you think that he was being vague, or do you think that he was trying to avoid a confrontation because it's about Newton? What do you think about this couple? Do you think that they'll be able to rebound and refine that love? Even though we saw a clip about Alexis saying that, you know, how do you feel about falling out of love? Do you think Alexis is a runner? Do you think she really left the house for an extended period of time? Let me know what you think about this couple in the comments below. Ben and Morgan. This couple I felt we had the least on this week because they are singing the same old song. Morgan has her walls up. She doesn't know how to let them down, and she does not know how to let Ben in. We first see Ben working out with his friend James. He says that Morgan is a beautiful and great person, but they cannot get past the issue of him sharing their private information. He says that on the honeymoon, he did not get the answers that he really wanted. He says he's confused about the affection that she wants because she says she doesn't trust him, but when they talked to Pastor Cal, she said that she wanted him to be affectionate. James says that it is just going to take time to build trust. We then see Morgan talking to her friend Carl, and she says that the honeymoon was not good and she is not happy. She says all the red flags that Ben has identified about family and finances, that they are surface level, and there are no red flags about her personality, character, or who she is. She does not think that Ben is seeing her for the person that she is. But I disagree with that. Family and finances are not a surface thing, and his concerns that he has about her family and her finances, those are major issues. And I think that the issue, if I'm understanding it right, it is about her character, because they keep pushing the narrative. She keeps pushing the narrative because Ben won't recite the story anymore. If you notice, through the whole thing, he just kept saying that he shared private information. He won't tell the story again. But when the story was first told, it sounded like that he was upset because she lied to the experts about having a bachelor's degree. And he thought that since she didn't have a bachelor's degree, that she wasn't a nurse. But I feel like she keeps spinning the story that Ben doesn't think that she's a nurse. I think that that was the second part of the argument. The first part was that she wasn't being honest with the experts about having a degree. And if that is true, if I got it right, and I'm not sure if I have, but if I got it right, that does go to character. Because your character, if you would tell a story to a production team for a national show, then I think that goes against your character. That's just like lying to your job about having a degree. So I don't know. I think that Morgan is trying to spin this and make Ben look like the victim, the bad guy in this, because she doesn't want the heat on her and the situation is being muddled. And because of that, I think that she needs to leave it and move on so that we can all move past it. But I do understand sometimes she says she's never had to deal with it. She just moves on. She doesn't really stay and get over it. So I understand that this is very hard on her if she's really trying to get over an issue, because she does feel like she has been betrayed. But Carl says that she needs to just put her walls down, talk to him, and growth is painful, but she needs to let it go. And I thought that was great advice from Carl. I think Ben and Morgan were the only couple who did their party planning shopping kind of separately, because Ben bought some cheap tequila and Morgan bought some more expensive tequila, but they didn't go shopping together. And also their friends didn't dress up, and they didn't dress up either. So I guess they were just not into the whole party theme. During the party, they rehashed the whole honeymoon incident again. And Morgan says that Ben thinks she lied about being a nurse, and also said they weren't going to talk about family or finances during the honeymoon, but the next day he brought it up again. And the friends say, how long are you going to hold this against him? Are you going to let it go? Or are you going to just hold it against him until he dies? And I just like that. They're like, is this till death do us part? Is this the argument that you could do? Is this the hill you're going to die on? I do like that Morgan's friend took Ben aside and said there's, two sides of every story, and really wanted to get his side. He seems like he has made amends. He did not recite the incident to her again. He just said that he made a mistake. He blew something out of proportion, but now he's trying to make amends. He says that he has apologized to her, to her family, to everybody, brought her flowers, bought her food, but she just will not let it go. And the friend did say that maybe he has done enough apologizing, because if he keeps apologizing, it just seems like it is not genuine after that. So I felt like, they're all telling Morgan the same thing, that she is going to have to let it go and move on. At the girl chat and at the guys chat, they again rehashed Morgan not being able to let it go. And I feel like the sentiments were the same. You're going to have to let it go. I love what Morgan said during the girls chat. She says that she likes spending time with him. They like going to the gym, like they like each other's company. And I love Lindy's response. She says that is a place that you guys can grow from. And then KRYSTIN says you just need to go out on a date and start over. But I think this couple is only going to make it if Morgan is willing to give Ben another chance. And honestly, marriage is really hard, and there is a lot of things that your spouse will do that you don't like. So if you cannot let things go and get over it, I think that if this is the hill they're going to die on, then they were not going to make it long term anyway. So I understand that it is hard for Morgan, because this is something that she has never done before, but I hope that she can let it go, start anew, and we can see if they have some real issues, because I think the real issue in their relationship is going to be that Morgan doesn't want to have kids. But we can't even get there yet, because Morgan is holding on to something I feel like she started. She started it by, if I got the story right, let me know if you guys think it's different, by telling him that she was not 100% honest with production, because the whole conversation started about her having a bachelor's degree, and now only thing we've heard about is nursing. So I think she is trying to bury the issue and bury the hatchet. So what do you guys think about Ben and Morgan? Do you think they'll make it? Do you think she'll be able to let it go and move on? Do you think this couple will be able to survive this one issue? Let me know what you think by commenting in the comment section. Well, that puts this episode in the books. It was another great episode, and it looks like next week there is more to come. So if you have not seen my recap of this week's after party, go watch that next. And with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.